You open a jar, take a few small capsules, and over the next weeks your legs feel steadier on the stairs. Your grip comes back when you twist the lid off a jar, and getting out of a chair doesn't feel like a slow motion battle anymore. That is the kind of practical, feel it in your bones progress we're aiming for today. If you're over 60 in America and you care about staying strong, independent, and active, I want you to treat today like a hard reset. Muscle loss after 60 is an inevitable decline. It's a challenge you can meet with a smart routine. The cornerstone of that routine is 5 vitamins that pull more than their weight for muscle energy and resilience. I'm going to lay out exactly what to take, what forms to buy, realistic dosages, how to time them with meals, what to expect, and the few red flags you must watch for so you do this safely and effectively. I strongly encourage you to talk to your doctor or pharmacist before starting, especially if you take prescription medications, but my goal here is simple. Make this so clear and straightforward you can put it into action today and feel the difference this month. Let's get real about why vitamins matter for muscle in the first place. Muscles don't exist in isolation. They're living tissues that depend on hormones, nerves, mitochondria for energy production, the health of your bones and tendons, and your body's ability to repair everyday wear and tear. As we age, we produce less stomach acid, we spend more time indoors, we often take medications that block nutrient absorption, and our appetite might shift toward fewer high-protein foods. All of that shows up as slower recovery, weaker contractions, shakier balance, and if you do nothing, smaller muscles over time. The good news is that your body still responds beautifully to the right inputs: high-quality protein, gentle but consistent resistance training, adequate sleep, and targeted vitamins that remove bottlenecks. Today, I'm endorsing 5 vitamins because they consistently turn weak links into strengths: vitamin D3, vitamin B12, vitamin K2, vitamin C, and vitamin E. Each one hits a different part of the muscle equation: strength signaling, nerve function, bone support, collagen and connective tissue, and protection against oxidative damage. Put together, they create a foundation your muscles can build on. Start with vitamin D3. Because if you live in the United States and you're over 60, there's a good chance you are not getting enough from sunlight alone. Between sunscreen, spending more time indoors, and the way our skin makes vitamin D less efficiently as we age, levels can drift low without any obvious symptoms until you notice weakness, fatigue, or itchiness that just won't go away. Vitamin D does far more than help bones. It talks directly to muscle cells, helping them contract efficiently and recover after you work them. It also supports balance and helps your brain and muscles coordinate. Here's the move. Choose vitamin D3, not D2, ideally paired with a little fat from a meal to boost absorption. For most older adults, a daily dose in the range of 1,000 to 2,000 IU is reasonable. Many Americans feel best with 2,000 IU daily, but if your doctor has checked your blood and found you're low, they might recommend more for a short period. If you can ask your doctor for a simple vitamin D blood test and aim for a healthy range, it's a small step that pays off hugely. What will you notice? D3 isn't a jolt vitamin. It's a steady climb. Over 2 to 4 weeks, you may find you feel less heavy in your legs when you climb stairs, you have more pep on your walks, and your balance feels more sure. Take it in the morning with breakfast or lunch. If you forget, just take it later with food. And a quick safety note: if you have a history of high calcium levels, kidney stones, or take certain diuretics, talk to your doctor about the right dose. Otherwise, this is one of the most impactful, cost-effective wins you can give your muscles. Next up is vitamin B12, the quiet hero behind nerve health and energy production. Strong muscles require strong signals, and those signals run through nerves that depend on B12 to stay healthy. Here's the wrinkle: as we age, stomach acid drops, and a lot of older Americans take medications that further reduce acid or impair B12 absorption. Think common heartburn drugs and metformin. That means you can eat perfectly well and still end up low in B12. Low B12 looks like fatigue that doesn't make sense, tingling or numbness in hands or feet, shaky balance, and weaker contractions because the nerve-muscle handshake isn't crisp. The fix is straightforward and safe for most people: a B12 supplement in methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin form. You don't need shots to benefit. Plenty of folks do great with 500 to 1,000 micrograms daily or 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms a few times a week. Sublingual tablets that dissolve under the tongue are easy and absorb well. You can take B12 any time of day, with or without food. What changes first? Often it's mental clarity and steadier energy within a week or two. Over a month, balance can improve, and your workouts feel more productive because the nerves are firing cleanly. If you're vegetarian, vegan, or you've been on heartburn medication for years, I especially endorse making B12 a daily habit. It's low-cost insurance for your neuromuscular system. Now, let's talk about the tag team partner that makes vitamin D safer and more effective for your frame, vitamin K2. Too many people think calcium and vitamin D alone are the whole bone story. The truth is you need vitamin K2 to act like a traffic cop, directing calcium into your bones and away from your arteries and soft tissues. Why does that matter for muscle? Because your muscles leverage your skeleton. Strong, mineralized bones give you a stable platform to push, pull, and move with confidence. Higher bone quality reduces fracture risk and fear of falling behavior, which means you keep training and keep your muscle. Vitamin K2 also plays a quieter role in muscle cell function and recovery. The form you want is MK7, because it stays in your body longer and works well at modest doses. Look for 90 to 180 micrograms daily, taken with your D3 and a meal that contains some fat. Feel free to buy a combination supplement that already pairs D3 and K2 that's convenient and helps you remember both. One essential safety note. If you take warfarin or any vitamin K-sensitive blood thinners, do not start K2 without talking to your doctor. They'll guide you because K2 can change how those medications work. If you're on other blood thinners that do not work via vitamin K pathways, your pharmacist can advise you. For everyone else, adding K2 is a smart, modern adjustment that keeps your D3 plus calcium approach in the safe lane and supports the hard work your muscles are doing. Vitamin C is the repair vitamin. When you pick up a weight, step up a curb, or carry groceries, you're not just using muscle, you're stressing tendons, ligaments, and the collagen-rich connective tissue that transmits force. Vitamin C is required to build and maintain collagen. That means healthier tendons and more resilient muscle attachments. It's also a powerful antioxidant and supports immune health, which indirectly supports training consistency. You recover better and you miss fewer workouts. Most Americans can benefit from 500 milligrams a day, and splitting the dose into 250 to 500 milligrams twice daily is even better for steady levels. If your stomach is sensitive, choose a buffered vitamin C, like sodium ascorbate or calcium ascorbate. If you struggle with kidney stones, especially calcium oxalate stones, ask your doctor about the right dose before you go high with C. Otherwise, this is easy to add. Take one dose with breakfast and, if you split it, another with lunch. Over a couple of weeks, you might notice your joints feel a touch less cranky, your post-walk soreness fades faster, and you're ready to add one more set of those chair squats without complaining. Vitamin E is the muscle's bodyguard. Every time your muscle fibers contract, especially under load, their membranes are exposed to oxidative stress. Over time, that stress can add up to slower recovery and more muscle soreness than you need to accept. Vitamin E lives in those membranes and helps neutralize the damage. The key is choosing the right form and dose. You don't want massive single vitamin E doses. What you want is a mixed tocopherols product, even better if it includes tocotrienols, because that mirrors how vitamin E appears in food and gives a broader protective effect. Think of a moderate dose, 100 to 200 IU daily with a meal. That's enough to support your muscle membranes without pushing into the territory that can thin blood or interact with medications at high doses. If you take anticoagulants or have a surgery scheduled, run your vitamin E routine by your doctor. Otherwise, this is the finishing touch in your vitamin stack, a subtle, steady edge in recovery and resilience that you feel when your legs don't feel trashed the day after a long day on your feet. Now let's build this into a simple American-friendly routine you can do on autopilot. In the morning with breakfast, take vitamin D3 with K2, vitamin B12, and your first vitamin C. If breakfast is light, that's fine. Just include a little healthy fat peanut butter on toast, some eggs, a bit of yogurt, or a splash of olive oil if you're cooking. In the afternoon or with dinner, take your vitamin E, and if you're splitting vitamin C, take the second dose. That's it. 6 capsules or tablets at most, often fewer if you choose a D3-K2 combo. Keep the bottles in a visible, convenient spot you can't miss next to your coffee maker, on the counter with your multivitamin if you use one, or in a little day of the week organizer. If you travel, pour what you need into a small zip bag or a pocket-sized pill case and put it right next to your toothbrush so you don't forget it. Consistency beats perfection. If you miss a dose, don't double up, just get back on track the next time you eat. Let's talk money and quality, because you don't need fancy boutique brands to do this right. Look for supplements that are third-party tested. USP verified, NSF certified, or informed choice logos are helpful signals. Choose products made by reputable companies with transparent labels, clear doses, and no proprietary blends. For single vitamins, for D3 you can buy soft gels or tiny tablets. For K2, look for MK7 on the label and note the microgram dose. For B12, methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin both work. Methylcobalamin is popular, cyanocobalamin is stable and often less expensive. For vitamin C, plain ascorbic acid works well. Buffered options are gentler if you're sensitive. For vitamin E, the label should say mixed tocopherols, not just del-alpha tocopherol. You don't need gummies. And you don't need to pay extra for raw or whole food marketing buzzwords. Simple and verified beats flashy. You might be wondering how soon you'll notice a difference. Here's the honest timeline most people experience. In the first week, B12 can smooth out energy swings and sharpen your focus. If you were borderline low, you may also feel steadier on your feet. By the second week, vitamin C's support for tissue repair and vitamin E's antioxidant protection can translate into less lingering soreness after activity. Around weeks 3 and 4, vitamin D shifts from invisible helper to quiet force multiplier. You feel stronger in everyday tasks. Your balance is a touch better. And if you're doing basic strength work, you'll notice smoother progress. Vitamin K2 doesn't announce itself. It works in the background with D3 to support your skeletal foundation. In 2 to 3 months, the full stack settles into a routine that just makes the work you put in count more. Let's be crystal clear about the work you put in, because I'm endorsing these 5 vitamins as part of a complete plan to stop muscle loss, not as magic pills. Our vitamins empower results, but you still need 2 more pillars: protein and resistance training. If you want stronger legs, a firmer grip, and a back that supports you through long days, give your body the building blocks and the stimulus. Aim to eat 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. American classics like eggs and Greek yogurt at breakfast, turkey or chicken at lunch, salmon, lean beef, or beans at dinner all count. If a big lunch isn't your thing, a protein shake can be a handy solution. Choose one with 20 to 30 grams per scoop and keep it simple. And 2 to 3 times a week, do 20 to 30 minutes of resistance work. You don't need a gym. Chair stands, wall push-ups, rows with a resistance band, and step-ups on a sturdy step are all fair game. That is how you tell your body, we still need muscle. The vitamins you're taking make that message louder and clearer. If you add a daily walk, you've just built a rock-solid routine that most seniors can stick to. Let's address the most common questions and objections I hear, because chances are you've got at least one of them. Can I just get these from food? You absolutely should eat well, and I endorse a diet rich in colorful produce, lean proteins, and healthy fats. But practically speaking, vitamin D from food alone is hard to get in sufficient amounts, especially without fortified milk or fatty fish daily. B12 from food becomes unreliable when stomach acid is low or you take certain medications. K2 is present in some cheeses and fermented foods, but not in predictable amounts unless you eat a lot of natto, which most Americans don't. Vitamin C is easy to get from citrus and peppers, but if your appetite is light or you skip produce, a supplement fills the gap. Vitamin E appears in nuts and seeds, which are great, but a modest supplement ensures consistent muscle membrane protection without pushing calories higher if you're watching weight. So yes, eat well, and yes, for these particular vitamins, supplementing makes sense for a lot of Americans over 60. What if I already take a multivitamin? Great. Check the label. Many multis have 1,000 IU of D3, some have none or use D2. They often have a token 30 micrograms of K, usually K1, not K2. B12 might be present in small amounts that aren't enough to correct low levels in older adults. Vitamin C might be 60 to 120 milligrams, fine, but not optimal if you want a collagen boost. Vitamin E in multis is often low and not in mixed tocopherol form. That's why I endorse these as targeted add-ons. You can absolutely keep your multivitamin and layer these on top, but read labels and avoid doubling up beyond the ranges we've discussed. If your multi already delivers 2,000 IU of D3 and you spend time in the sun, you might skip an extra D3. If it has a meaningful dose of K2 MK7, you may not need a separate K2. Make decisions based on the label in your hand. Can I take all of these at once? You could, but splitting them improves absorption and reduces the chance of stomach upset. Morning with food D3, K2, B12, vitamin C evening with food, vitamin E and the second vitamin C if you're splitting. If you miss a meal, it's okay. Take them with your next one. B12 is flexible. If mornings are easier, put it there and call it a day. Are there side effects? Most people tolerate these well. Vitamin D can raise calcium levels if you take too much for too long. That's why it's smart to check a blood level once or twice a year, especially if you go above 2,000 IU daily. Vitamin K2 can interact with warfarin. Get medical guidance if you're on that medication. Vitamin C can cause loose stools at higher doses. If that happens, reduce the dose or choose a buffered form. Vitamin E at very high doses can thin blood. That's why we're staying in the 100 to 200 IU range and taking it with food. B12 is generally very safe. A small number of people notice mild acne or jitters if they take very high doses. Cut back if that happens and you'll be fine. If you have kidney disease, a history of kidney stones, or complex medical conditions, make sure your doctor is in the loop. It's your body. You deserve a plan that fits you personally. I'm on a fixed income. Is this going to be expensive? Not if you shop smart. A bottle of D3 can cost a few dollars and last months. K2 MK7 is usually the priciest of the five, but you're using microgram doses, so a bottle still lasts a long time. B12 is inexpensive, especially cyanocobalamin. Vitamin C is cheap. Vitamin E mixed tocopherols costs a bit more than the synthetic single form, but you only need a modest dose. Buy from trusted American retailers, look for third-party testing, and ignore fancy marketing. This is one of the most cost-effective investments you can make in your health. What's the point if I don't exercise? Vitamins will still help, but the magic happens when you combine them with even a minimal resistance routine. If you can stand up from a chair and sit back down slowly, you can exercise. If you can push against a wall, you can exercise. If you can hold onto your kitchen counter and rise onto your toes, you can exercise. Start with one set of 10 reps for each move, 3 times a week. Add a rep or a second set when it gets too easy. That is enough to give your muscles the who's me signal they need. Your vitamins make sure the signal is received, the repair materials are available, and the damage is controlled. You'll be surprised how fast confidence returns when you simply start. I want to give you a crisp, you can commit to right now. Order a D3 K2 combo with 2,000 IU D3 and 90 to 120 micrograms MK7 K2. Order a B12 and 1,000 microgram tablets. Methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin, your choice. Order vitamin C in 500 milligram tablets or capsules, buffered if you have a sensitive stomach, at 100 to 200 IU. Put them on your counter when they arrive. Take D3 K2 B12 and vitamin C with breakfast. Take vitamin E and your second vitamin C with dinner. Put a sticky note on your coffee maker until it becomes automatic. Make your next 3 dinners protein forward and simple: grilled chicken with green beans, salmon with rice and a salad, chili with beans, and lean ground beef. 2 days this week, do chair stands, wall push-ups, and a band row, 10 reps each. Next week, do 11. This is how you stop muscle loss in the real world. Let's touch on a few smart optimizations Americans over 60 will appreciate. If your skin is darker or you live in a northern state where winter light is weak, stick with daily D3 all year. If you snowbird between states, keep a spare set of vitamins in each place so moving around doesn't derail your consistency. If you take metformin for blood sugar, be especially mindful of B12. That medication can lower B12 over time. If you take a PPI for heartburn, ask your doctor about whether you still need it and consider B12 even more strongly. If grocery trips are hard, stock a pantry with shelf-stable protein tuna pouches, canned salmon, lentils, beans, and a quality protein powder. If your appetite is low in the morning, make a small smoothie with Greek yogurt, milk, or a milk alternative, frozen berries, and a scoop of protein, then take your morning vitamins. If swallowing pills is tough, B12 can be sublingual and vitamin D3 comes in tiny softgels that are easy to swallow. Vitamin C powder dissolves in water. Vitamin E is typically a small softgel. There's always a way to adapt the routine to your reality. For the curious minds who like to know, why? Down to the cells. Here's the short version. Vitamin D receptors exist in your muscle tissue. When vitamin D binds, it influences calcium handling inside the muscle, improving contraction efficiency and reducing the sense of fatigue. Vitamin B12 is essential for myelin, the insulating coating on nerves. Healthy myelin equals clean, fast signals to your muscles and better coordination. Vitamin K2 activates proteins that bind calcium into your bones where it belongs. Bones and muscles function as a unit in movement, and better bone integrity makes strength training safer and more effective. Vitamin C is required to convert proline and lysine into stable collagen. Collagen scaffolds give tendons and ligaments the toughness they need to transmit force from muscle to bone without fraying. Vitamin E sits in the lipid membranes of muscle fibers, quenching free radicals created during hard contractions. Less oxidative damage equals quicker recovery and fewer aches. You don't need to recite the biochemistry, but you can stand a little taller knowing there's a very practical chain of cause and effect behind every capsule you take. Let's also clear up a few myths that float around and keep people stuck. If a little is good, more is better. Not with vitamins. The doses I've laid out are purposefully moderate and effective. Don't chase mega doses. Natural vitamins are always better than synthetic. What matters most is the form, dose, and third-party testing. Mixed tocopherols for E are great. Natural alone doesn't guarantee quality. Multivitamins make everything else unnecessary. Multis are a base layer, not a complete plant. I'm too old to build muscle. No, muscle responds at every age when you give it a reason and the raw materials. There are Americans in their 70s and 80s getting stronger because they started. It's too late. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. I endorse this plan because it's simple, safe for most people, and pays off in ways you can feel in your daily life. You'll notice it when you step off a curb with confidence. You'll notice it when you carry a Costco haul from the car in one trip. You'll notice it when you get down on the floor with a grandchild and stand up without plotting your strategy. Your future independence lives in the small decisions you make every day. This vitamin stack is one of those decisions that tilts the odds in your favor. If you want to go one level deeper and tailor this to you personally, here's how you can do that in the American healthcare system. At your next checkup, ask for a basic set of labs, vitamin D, B12, and anything your doctor recommends based on your medications and history. These are routine tests that help you fine-tune without guesswork. If your D is low, your doctor might suggest a short-term higher dose before you settle into your daily 2000 IU. If your B12 is borderline, they might encourage daily or every other day dosing for a while, then weekly maintenance. Bring your supplement bottles to your appointment so your doctor sees exactly what you're taking. If you're on warfarin, tell your provider before adding K2. They may adjust your dose and monitor your INR. Having your care team in the loop makes this smoother and safer, and most doctors are happy to see patients who are proactive about maintaining muscle and mobility. I'll leave you with a clear picture of the next 30 days. Day 1, you place the order. Day 3 or 4, the package arrives. You line up your bottles and take your first dose with breakfast. You do 10 chair stands, 10 wall push-ups, and 10 band rows. Day 7, you realize your energy doesn't dip as hard in the afternoon. Day 14, you notice your legs recover faster after a long errand day. Day 21, your balance feels more steady when you step quickly to catch the phone. Day 30, you look back and see a stack of small victories. No missed doses for a week straight, 3 protein-forward dinners, 1 extra set added to your routine. This is how strength returns quietly, consistently, daily 1,000 to 2,000 IU with food. Pair it with vitamin K2 MK 790 to 180 micrograms with the same meal. Take vitamin B12, 500 to 1,000 micrograms daily or a few times a week, sublingual or tablet, your choice. Take vitamin C, 250 to 500 milligrams once or twice daily, and make it buffered if your stomach is sensitive. Take vitamin E as mixed tocopherols, 100 to 200 IU daily with a meal. Be consistent for a month. Eat 25 to 30 grams of protein at your main meals. Do 2 to 3, so here's your commitment, plain and simple, and I endorse every piece of it. Take vitamin D3, short resistance sessions a week you can perform safely at home. Loop in your doctor if you're on medications that interact or you have complex conditions. This is a strong American-made plan for American lives. It respects your time, your budget, and your goals.